All right, folks, moment of truth. Will it fit through the door? Maybe I should have measured that before I started. You guys are getting used to me by now. The trick is going to be unloading. I guess we'll figure out how we're going to manage that when we get up there. I don't know. Well, hey there, hobby homesteaders. Welcome back to Peaks Peak. Today, I've got a lot of work to do because I've got to get the mill out of the shop and up in the wood yard. Now, we're not entirely ready to set it up in the wood yard yet because I don't have my base built. Now, one of the main reasons I've got to get the sawmill moved up to the wood yard is because, well, I need the lift bay in my garage. My son's got his truck, he needs to get in there on the lift. So I'm gonna go ahead and move the sawmill out, and I bought me a nice tarp to put over the mill head until we can get our roof built over it. But I'm going to start hot and heavy building out the base for this mill and getting the shed put over it, so it's not going to take us 2 or 3 weeks and we're going to have this thing under a roof. I figure I might as well just go ahead and move it. I think we have 1 or 2 days of rain in the forecast over the next 10 days, so if I put a tarp over it, we'll be good enough. I have 5 railroad ties underneath my stack of walnut that I put on here the other day. So I think what I've decided to do is I'm going to be storing lumber up on the hill in the wood yard too. So I'm going to move my stack of walnut lumber up there along with the railroad ties because I'm going to use some of those for the mill base. Now, I also have a few more railroad ties that I need, but the unfortunate thing is they're right there. That's kind of always the way it goes, isn't it? I don't know if I'm gonna get into that tonight or not, but I need to get those dug out of there. I don't know, I may use the forks and move some of this junk out of the way and dig them out, but yeah, we'll see. This is where I told my son to pile the fence posts, so that's what he did, and that's where they're at, and well, now I have a use for them. So that's what we're gonna get into today. I'm gonna get this lumber and the railroad ties loaded onto the trailer, and then we're gonna load the mill on the trailer, and we're gonna take it all up to the wood yard. I think rather than load these on the trailer, because they're 10 foot wide and I'll need to lift them up over the fence, I think I'm just gonna drive the tractor up the hill and let them off up at the top. Be a tight squeeze. I think we're gonna make it though. Got past the fence so I can lower it down. A whole lot more stable close to the ground. All right, we made it up here. I don't know if that was the move or not, but I know trips up and down the hill with the truck and trailer can be a little bit difficult, so I figured this was probably the move. So I'm gonna lay out some boards, stack these maple boards off to the side, and then I'll head back down and start loading up my railroad ties on the trailer. Back down the hill, got us a couple of railroad ties. Load these on the trailer, and then we gotta get some fuel. I know that when I put this hose back, it's coiled up all nice and neat. It's not just laying in the floor. And I mentioned when I got this Vevor diesel pump that I was a little bit afraid to just leave fuel here for them to pump. And I definitely wasn't gonna leave gas because there would never be any left. But for some reason, every time I get on the tractor, I have to put fuel in it. And I'm not the one running it out. I don't know what's going on here. accurate with these clamp-on bucket forks, but I do not want to crust my fenders if I can keep from it. So this is going to be tricky. It ain't gonna be too bad. There we go. So I originally envisioned doing this in one trip, putting the railroad ties on there and also putting the sawmill on the trailer. I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to take a chance of the railroad ties falling over and crushing something on the sawmill or anything like that. I want to be able to strap it all down good. So I'm gonna throw some straps on this, haul it up there. I don't want to have to walk all the way back down the hill, so I'm gonna throw the e-bike in the truck. That way when I get up there, I can ride the e-bike back down and get the tractor and come up to unload these. I'm also going to need the tractor up there to unload the sawmill anyway. So, man, this is the process. All right, zippity-doo-dah. We got a load of railroad ties and an e-bike. Let's go to the woodyard. And we got her in 4 low, and we're going to have to take it real slow. The hill's kind of rough. I'll let you guys ride in the bed of the truck. Probably fall over before we get up there, but this is kind of a trial run because I was curious if I would be able to put a couple of logs on the trailer and haul them up the hill here if I need to at times. And obviously if I can pull 9 cross ties up the hill on the trailer, then I won't have any trouble hauling a log or 2 if I need to. Now, of course, the trail is nice and dry right now. Got pretty good grip. I wouldn't want to do this if it was muddy and slimy, but we've also got really good trailer brakes and all that. So, you know, coming down the hill, we'll be empty coming down the hill, but still no big deal. And I have good neighbors. They don't mind if I come up their driveway and then I've got a straight shot over the woodyard from their driveway, but I don't like to bother people unless I really have to. So I try to save that for times when it's too muddy, but I have something I really need to get done. So we're just gonna kind of keep working it like that. I think I will turn right here and back it back into the woodyard. That's a tight squeeze right there. But we got her right in here. All right, that gives me room to get the tractor in here. Ready to get the e-bike and ride back down the hill and go get the tractor. This is pretty good progress, and I'm excited that bringing the trailer up here and backing it back in here was not a big deal. I see a few small trees through there that I could take those trees out and make it a little bit easier to squeeze back here, because if those trees were any bigger, I'd have trouble getting through there backing up. And I guess really there's room to turn around back here, but I knew I had so many stumps sticking up everywhere. I didn't want to have to try to maneuver around those or over them. Rad power bikes, Rad Rover 6. Man, we have worked this thing over. Caden rides it all the time. I'll just leave the seat where he puts it because it'll work. All right, so I think I've got a game plan here. I set out a tentative layout for the sawmill shed right here. So the mill is actually gonna sit right in this line right here. So what I'm gonna do is actually stage the mill back behind that. That way when I get ready to drill my holes and set my kind of foundation posts for the railroad ties, it won't be a big deal for me to move it over and get everything in position. So I'm just gonna kind of set these railroad ties in a tentative location and get them unloaded so we can go get down, and get to the mill. All right, now, next thing we gotta do is take the trailer down and set the lift on it. Get it all strapped down, haul it up here. I'm kind of excited about that. Now what I might have trouble with is setting this thing down on the trailer around my fenders. So I may have to put something under this. I'm just not sure how this is going to line up. So let me back the trailer in under it and we'll decide how it's going to work. I've got an idea. So what we're going to do is set her down here, move these front lift arms. A spotter in this process would be so handy. And I just can't hear you guys yelling. Oh yeah, we can get that last leg on there. This is gonna work out just great. I can come back another 6 or 8 inches there. I can see me rolling this thing all the way off the back. Well, that'd be a trip, wouldn't it? That's on there good. Now we got to throw a big strap on, but I got to see if I can get her out the garage door next. All right, folks, moment of truth. Will it fit through the door? Maybe I should have measured that before I started. You guys are getting used to me by now. It's like I knew what I was doing.
I wouldn't go that far.
Was there really ever any doubt? All right, let's throw some straps on this sucker. The trick is going to be unloading. I guess we'll figure out how we're gonna manage that when we get up there. I don't know. All right, here we go with the mill. I'm a little more hopeful that this load stays put all the way up the hill. If I lost a railroad tie off, no big deal. I lose this off, I'm crying. All right, guys, so I have a plan. And I think that I'm gonna be able to do this without taking the mill head off of the rails, because I believe this assembled machine is not outside of the lift capacity of my Kubota. So I've got my forks on there, and I'm gonna set the mill head weight basically over the top of where the forks are so that it's not off-centered. We're just kind of gonna, feel this out and see how it goes. I'll lift it a little bit and see how stable it is, and we'll make a decision based on that. I'm gonna get it unstrapped, and then we'll go ahead and figure out what we're gonna do here. So we're gonna do a test lift and see how stable it is. Well, our forks aren't long enough to do that, and we're gonna have to have a new plan. And I think what we can do, because this sits on the outside of these rails here, I think I can get my forks wide enough that I can pick this mill head up off of here. Now the only thing I wish is that this was on the trailer turned around the other direction. I'm gonna have to strap the whole thing to my tractor in order to do this, and I don't know. What I might be able to do is let this down closer to the ground and then pick it up from up higher as well. I'm gonna check a few things out and see what I can come up with here. All right, well, I've got another idea, because the way this is made and angled, we can roll this back and tip it slowly. We about got her. But what I don't want to do is lay it back on okay, we're doing all right here as long as we're not running gas out on the ground. All right, let me pull the trailer up. Now we'll stand this back up. This is when you need a bigger tractor. But we were able to do it all nice and slow and controlled. And here's the thing, this is not that heavy the way it is with the mill head all the way at the bottom. Not exactly how I wanted to go about doing that, but it is what it is. All right, we'll go get the rails off and then we'll bring the mill head down there. All right, guys, well, we're gonna get this done, but I can tell you it is not getting done the way that I pictured it getting done. Now we got the mill head here, and I've got my forks adjusted the width of the legs of the mill head, and I'm gonna get it up on those forks, and then I'm gonna strap it on because I don't trust it to ride there and I don't wanna lose it. All right, I think we are pretty steady, but we gotta take it very slow. This is about as heavy as we want to handle with the Kubota BX, and we should be able to set this down right on the rails and it work out. So let's go find out what we can do. Can't see here working by myself. But I think my move here is tip her right down on these rails. Right on the money, son. This is just basically a temporary spot for it to sit. Me put a tarp on it and then get my platform built. Tonight has been utter chaos for me. You know, I put some thought into how I was going to maneuver this, but I guess I overestimated some things in terms of space on the trailer and my length of my bucket forks and stuff like that. Because the rails are just 30 inches apart, but what I wasn't figuring for is this stuff sticking out the side on the mill head, and the mill head is where I really needed to be lifting. So that put me in a position where I couldn't get close enough to get the forks all the way under it to lift it all as one unit. Had I lifted the mill head off down in the garage while it was down low and handled it separately, just like I did, I would have been just fine. But because I loaded it on the trailer all as one piece, I had a mess there. It's just one of those things where we got an end result. It is what it is, but probably wasn't the smartest way to go about it. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed going along for the ride today. It was a wild one. But listen, don't forget, till next time, get outside and enjoy God's creation. It's beautiful out here. Y'all have a good day.